do some show and tell. So trying to coin a term, Internet of Swing. So we're transitioning from Internet of Things to Internet of Swing. So Diamond Kinetics is a baseball motion tracking company. We're a Pittsburgh startup, about $5 million in funding. Some pretty notable customers and partners here. We're partnered with about 16 of the 30-some professional baseball teams. Some great collegiate partners that we're continuing to announce. So I've been telling our marketing department Internet of Swings is a really great term. So tweet about it. We'll see if we can get something started on Internet of Swings. So motion tracking technology, we manufacture these sensors. I'm going to pass some around. So the gray one is our Gen 1 sensor. I have one here, and I'll pass it around so you can see it. And we have our Gen 2 sensors, the black one, which is made to be embedded into the knob of a bat. So you can see an example of that here. It looks like this one's turned itself off. A double tap will turn it on. And this one won't connect to my iPad, but this is pretty cool. So it's a removable thing. You can sort of see in there, but a push down and twist counterclockwise will take it out if you wanted to see. But the good news on these sensors is you don't actually have to have a bat with a cord out knob. You can have one of any standard bat and then have this attached with basically a rubber band system. So I'll pass one of these around as well. Everyone gets to see them. Lots of things coming your way. Same thing, but in a different form factor. So that's what we are. That's what we do. Working with some pretty cool partners. So this is our Internet of Swings. Sensors go to our app. App collects a whole bunch of data. We do have a time series data. We do a lot of analytics on it. And all of that is reported to the user, fed up to our cloud, where we do a bunch of machine learning algorithms on top of it, how people are improving over time, which we'll get to as well. We do have an open API. I have never seen people get excited about an open API as I did when I was talking to some of the Pirates data nerds. So it was exciting to see. Got some sharp folks with the Pirates. So this is one of my swings. This is the 3D from one of my swings. This is what we generate. So from that tiny little sensor, we have a 3-axis accelerometer and a 3-axis gyroscope that when we couple all that data together, we can actually do a full 3D recreation of the swing, which is pretty wild. So this is me swinging outside of RCI on the North Shore when things were a little bit warmer and I didn't have a beard. So this should be the video. And we also, inside the app, so this is all inside of our app, you'll see video side by side with the 3D. I don't know if audio will come through. It's not too interesting because it's just slow-mo swing audio, but whoops. There is video here. I can show you the side-by-side video. Can we click on the play button for this, perhaps? Maybe. We'll see. You get the idea. So the video will sync up with the 3D. It syncs on impact, which you'd be able to see. It's pretty cool to watch. Here we go. Good, cuts off. You get the idea there. So that's what our app does. It synchronizes that sensor data. Thank you very much. With the video based on that impact. So our challenge from all of this data, this is actually what one of those swings looks like. This was that particular swing. We have two sets of accelerometer, 2 accelerometers and 2 gyroscopes. So lots of data that comes off for every single swing. And in any one session, users are swinging 50 to 250 or 300 swings per batting practice or per practice. So all of this data, we needed to simplify. So we can't hand the user just the 3D. It's not quite as useful. Our challenge really became what data is most useful to the user when, right? So if the player is working with their coach to improve their hand cast distance, how far away from their body do their hands go, that's a metric that we wanted to give them. If they've been talking about their increasing their max barrel speed, that was a metric that everyone's very familiar with. How quickly does that bat move? What is the max speed of that bat? So we took those 9,600 data points, simplified it down into 11 summary metrics. So here's some examples of speed. We have max hand speed, max barrel speed, speed efficiency, forward barrel speed. So a lot of these things that we've sort of verified that folks are very interested in learning about. And then summarized further from there those 11 metrics down into just 4 categories. So here's power, speed, control, and quickness around the horn there. So just a really quick visual way to see, was this a good swing based on your comparison database, which you can see in the bottom left, maybe it says adult rec there. So if I told you today that you had a 56 mile an hour bat speed, you'd say, it's great, I think, maybe, I don't know. So we took our first foray into sort of the big data when we started to get into the, is this good or not? So for adult rec, this is actually this is high school varsity. But for the distance in the zone metrics, we have a really nice bell curve worth of data from all of the swings that we have to say if what is good, are you trying to maximize it? What is the average? What do other people do in your age group? So that was our first foray into the big data. But there has been quite a bit of study into big data in baseball. Baseball is a great sport for big data just because there are so many repetitions. There are so many games per season. On the left is one of our advisors, Alan Nathan. This is his donut hole. So he's talking about the, what do we have charted here? The vertical launch angle and the batted ball speed are the X and Y, and then Z ends up being the balls in play. So you can see there's sort of a donut hole shape there. If you hit the ball very fast, but straight up, that's not very good. But if you hit the ball very fast, but at a lower angle, where you have it drop behind the infield, but in front of the outfield, that ends up being pretty good. And you can see that charted pretty clearly based on a lot of the StatCast data. So this is something that Alan Nathan has done a lot of research on. He's great. If you're interested in this sort of thing, Alan and Darren are great folks to follow. Darren over here, you can see here's, who do we have? Miguel Cabrera's batted ball chart. So you can see exit speed and then results. So he's got a lot, there are lots of data on any one player, let alone all of the MLB players. And they have this for MLB and AA, single A, triple A, lots of the minor league players as well. So this is where a lot of the sort of big picture, big data research is going. So they've been doing a lot of research into the effect. This is all of the effect data. Where does that ball go? We are more interested in the cause part of the data, the metrics that the batter can control. Exactly what path did that bat take to make contact with that ball? And we're really excited to get this bat path and mechanic data into the hands of folks like Alan Nathan and Darren. So in March, we are starting our own sort of big data, our first big data approach, real big data approach, where we have learned how drills affect users' metrics. And we are querying the users, we're asking the users, what sort of hitter do they want to be? Do they want to be a power hitter? Are they trying to hit to the outfield? Are they trying to just get a ball in play? Those are different hitters, and they're going to be swinging different swings, right? So we don't want to tell the user what is ideal. There is no real ideal swing, but conditionally we've seen, so there are some conditionally ideal swings if that's what you're trying to do. So we ask the user what they're trying to do. We figure out where the gaps are from their metrics and all of the data that they've collected so far, and we can start to inform them around which drills might be most effective for them to reach their desired outcome. So that's our first sort of dabble into it. And then the next thing that we're going to see, around baseball sensors, there has been quite a bit of StatCast data around positional information, and there's a lot more coming around not just the positional information, but a lot of actually instrumenting, putting sensors on the field. So we were just cleared by the MLB for on-field use this past season, which is fantastic. We're going to start to see that in-game this next year, fingers crossed. But that's where we see things going. So we're going to see an explosion of that data. So not just that outcome data, but a lot of the metrics data. So we'll start to see and hear, hopefully, on radio broadcasts, and hopefully we get one of our 3D swings. That'd be fantastic in an actual MLB broadcast. And the real thing that we think is going to unlock a lot of value for recruiters is segmenting players. So if I can segment if I can segment all of my recruiting class to say which one of my recruiting class is most like my All-American hitter 4 years ago, that's a very valuable data point for me that I might have over my competition. So the ability to start to segment these players based on that swing metrics is something that we're starting to enable and is very, very valuable for recruiters, both at collegiate level and at the professional level. So they have, at the pros, they actually have teams of data scientists poring over this, and I'm happy to enable all of that through our API. So we are hiring. I do want to throw that out there. And that's really all I had for today. But any questions on Diamond Kinetics or our swing tracker? Pirates do use it, yes. Oh, yeah, we're not allowed to use their logo. It's actually a thing. So I can say that we use them. And the owner of the Pirates has invested in Diamond Kinetics. So they are using us, and that's how we started. So. Are
you tracking other positions?
So the next thing that we have coming out actually is the ball. So that's a great question. So we have inside of this ball, this is a prototype ball that we will hopefully get to market either late 2017 if all the stars align, or early 2018. So we'll start to see the pitcher's throws get instrumented. Now they have some data right now. There's TrackMan data. There's other PitchFX data that's available pitch per pitch. But that's only at the professional level, and that's only if you can afford a multiple tens of $1,000 installation. So this we expect to retail anywhere from $100 to $200, depending on how we get the cost of goods in this. But this is an actual wrapped ball by one of the major equipment manufacturers. So with sensors inside the ball, we'll actually start to see some things get instrumented or get analyzed aside from just the pitcher. So catcher pop time, if we have any baseball nerds in the audience, catcher pop time is pretty important. So when the catcher catches it and then throws it to somebody stealing from first to second, second to third, or how the catcher frames the pitch is another big thing. So where do you catch it versus where do you frame it and hold it? And then absolutely, maybe the catcher's throw, we've been focused on catcher, so I'm talking a lot about the catcher, but the catcher's throw, once they get that pop time, how accurate was it? Did the second baseman catch it up here and then tag, or was it really just right here? Because that's a super accurate throw. So we can start to instrument all of that with the ball. Sensors in the ball really unlock a lot of positional information.
Are you focusing only on baseball? Like golf's pretty similar, right? The swing and football.
Yep, so we are exclusive to baseball and softball. We have a patent. Our base patent is putting these IMU, inertial measurement unit devices on sporting equipment. That patent, the global sort of all sporting equipment, that's held by University of Michigan. University of Pittsburgh did some additional work. Our founder, Buddy Clark, was the gentleman that did that. And then we've licensed exclusively inside of baseball and softball. So only baseball and softball, but also nobody else can come into baseball and softball. So that's where we're at, and we're going to exploit. There's a lot to do inside of baseball and softball. Did you have a question?
Yeah. I was wondering, does the weight of the sensor, does it affect the bat or the aerodynamics of the bat or ball at all?
Very, very little. Enough that it's insignificant. Now, when we work with our bat manufacturing partners, though, we actually do take that into account. So we know what the weight of that bat should be, and we know all the properties of our, so they account for that in their design. That's a good question. Yep.
Any specific players or feedback from players?
We have a lot of feedback from players. We haven't, so in order to get MLB level player endorsements, that's a multi-million-dollar deal that we have not gone down yet. We have some notable collegiate and high school players and coaches. So in our drill library that's coming out in March, we have some really, really big name folks that have been focused on how to train around these metrics. So they've been sort of leading the thought around which metrics are important, which metrics should we focus on, which should we teach to. So they're finally teaching to it inside of our app. It's a good question. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a couple things that we're doing. With our open API, we do a couple data integrations where with companies that do track ball exit. So from that ball exit in real time, we can match those up and determine quality of contacts. And sort of the down the road research that we're doing is based on the vibration profile of the bat and how we read that. We can get longitudinal distance on the bat. And we're trying to zero in on where on the face did the ball, but we're not there yet. That is huge if we can get to it. Great questions, yeah.
Is your client portfolio all organizational or team MLB or college or high school, or is there an offering that,
Yeah. Yeah, if Tim is interested, and if Tim's dad is interested, yeah, we do retail for $150, and if you chat with me, we can get a code for you, figure out whatever the best offering that we currently have is, and we can work that out. Yeah, and free shipping since we're right here. Great questions. Anything else? Thanks, everyone. Let's enjoy cocktail hour.